how are you? And today is Friday. Yay, right, Friday. So I wanted to ask you a question, and I kind of know the answer already, but are some days where peace is in your home? Everyone is in a good state, and then everybody is doing what they want to do quietly, or even being friendly and using their manners. Or some days it's just absolute chaos that's going on, right? Nobody is getting anything done that they want to get done, or receiving any gratification that they want to receive, and everything is just chaotic, right? And so sometimes that happens around here as well. So emotions, that's the big key to all this, right? Is our emotions. And we want to figure out how we want to master our emotions so that we can help our kids master theirs, right? So I am Jean Harville, and I am the founder of Raising Kids Who Love to Read by Jean Harville Facebook group. And I am also the creator of Rethink Learning Academy. So I just wanted to bring this forward because I know that emotions can be crazy. And of course, it depends on the time of the year. It depends on what the activities are. It depends on how long you've been cooped up in your home. A lot of things depend on that. But that's just the way it is, right? And so we know through brain science that a thought creates an emotion. So there's the emotion. So we need to think about that thought. What is that thought? So what is it that you enjoy? Like, what are the states of being that you enjoy being in, right? Like for me, is joy and peace and creativity. Those are the three states that I love to be in. If I had my total choice of who I am away from everybody else, and I look deeply in what is it that really define who I am. So joy, because I'm a happy person. Peace, I like everything to be nice and calm around me. And creativity. And creativity allows that connection to who I am. And when I'm being creative, it just flows. My brain just loves it, and it gives me a sense of who I am. So, like, think about the three top emotions that you want to create for yourself, and what is it that you want to do that? And now all emotions are connected to our thinking. So what do I have to think in order to create these things in my life? That's the first thing. It's my thought. What do I need to think, right? So during the week and during running a business, I have days where I am scheduled with clients, and I have other days that are kind of unscheduled. And I know that they can look different, and even the emotions in myself, in my being, in my body feel different on a scheduled day as opposed to an unscheduled day. It's just different, right? And so, examining like what's the difference between my emotions between those 2 days. What are my thoughts? What are the thoughts that are running through my head that are causing my emotions to change, right? And not to be as I'm always joyful, but maybe a little more short-tempered or something, or peaceful would be like I'm just too scattered, trying to find what I need for what I need because I have a time thing I'm working up against. Or creativity just kind of goes out the window because I have too much turmoil going on that I can't just sit and calm and be creative. So what's the thinking? What is going on, right? And so I feel like on the days that I'm unscheduled, I have the thought of just allowing myself, like I give myself permission to be relaxed, to be slower, to be in a space of just an unlimited amount of time. Like I don't even look at the clock. I'm just being in this space. And so that creates that feeling of joy and peace and creativity, so that I'm connected to my thoughts and to who I am. And it fills that space with joy that I look for. So why the difference in my emotions between that, unscheduled time and my client's scheduled days? And like, how can I carry over the joy and that peace and the creativity to my days when I have clients, right? So my thinking, right? So I wonder if I could pull those same thoughts into my client scheduled days. Of course I can, because brain science says that I can do that. I can decide in advance what thoughts need to be in place so that my emotions will follow, what the emotions that I'm wanting will follow. So I think that for me to achieve this result of being in a state of joy, peace, and creativity, in reality, the thought before the emotion, that's from brain science, right? So I decide in advance the thinking of what I need, so that the emotion I want to feel, so that I can become the person that I want to be, which is peaceful, joyful, and creative, which allows me to be connected to who I am. So deciding in advance what are the thoughts that I need to have on those days where I'm scheduled, and I'm have boom, boom, boom. Yesterday was one of those days, and it was back to back to back to back to back to back, and I wasn't able to get my live in. So I thought, you know what? I'll do it today on an unscheduled day where I'm feeling much more relaxed, and I can allow the flow of the joy and the creativity and the happiness and the peace and all that I crave, right? So what are your states of being that you really want to have? Just you as you, not you as mom or but you as a person, right? What is it that you strive to have in your home or around you or on your day-to-day basis, right? So when we figure that out, and we can figure out what are the thoughts that come before the emotion of peace or the emotion of joy. I'm just using those because that's what I have. Emotion of being creative. What are those specific thoughts? And this is the really tough part too, because when you find yourself not in the state of being that you want to be, and all of a sudden you just blow up and just things happen, life happens, right? And so you have to be able to calm yourself. Say, what was I thinking just before that? What was the thought? Oh, we're going to be late. If we don't hurry up, I've had enough screaming and crying, or I've had, it's too noisy in here, or when are you going to do your chores, or what's that thought that happened before the emotion you didn't want happened, right? And so I think that when we can hone in, and it's hard to do, but you have to stop yourself, you have to be intentional. What is that thought that happened just before the emotion happened that I didn't want? Vice versa. What is the thought that I had and that I have the emotion that I'm wanting? What thought triggers the emotion that I want? So those are two things that you can think about, and just jot them down. You don't have to, there's no right or wrong, just jot them down, and you'll start seeing a pattern of a specific thought that causes you to derail from the feelings that you want or the emotions that you want, or you find the thought that keeps you in the thought into the emotion process, or feel that you really want, the state of being that you want to be in, right? And so once we have figured that out for ourselves, that's when we can now take it to our kids and help them. Now remember, kids will geek out over the brain. When you start talking about training the brain, and the way that they feel and their thoughts come from their brain, and they can choose the thoughts that they want. So let's say they have an exam coming up or a test coming up, and they're anxious about that, and you can tell that they're anxious. You can see their body language change. And so ask them, what are they thinking right at this moment? Well, I'm going to fail this, test, or I'm not ready for this test, and just kind of jot down those thoughts for them, and then check their emotion, what's happening, whether they're tense and they can't do very well on the test, or they're flustered, or throwing things around because they're just mad, and they're scared of what their performance is going to be on that test. Then on other times when you notice their state of being more relaxed and calm, ask them, what are you thinking right now? And they may say, well, I don't know, Mom. But it will take time, because they will not recognize or notice that they actually have a thought that's going through their head, because we have to train them like that, just like we have to train ourselves on trying to figure out what that thought is that we had before the emotion that arrived after that thought. And the same thing with our kids, is getting them trained in what are they thinking? What is the thought that's going through their head at that moment, through their brain, that is and then notice what the emotion is that comes after it, right? It could be peace. It could be playing nicely with their siblings. It could be reading a book. It could be anything, right? What are your thoughts that you had before you did this thing, and you had the emotion of peacefulness. Find out from them what type of emotion they like to have. They want to feel peaceful. You have to give them a choice. Give them a list of emotions and let them pick out 3 that they would like to strive towards. And then what the next step would be to decide in advance. Help them decide in advance if they pick out an emotion that they would really like calm, right? They want to be calm. And so decide in advance what thought is going to help them to feel calmness. And so it's a process. This is not something that you're going to conquer in a day. But first, work on yourself. Figure out what your emotions are, which emotions you want, which emotions serve you best. What days do those emotions appear? Which days do they not appear? The opposite appears. And what is going on in your brain? What's your thinking? What's going on? What's triggering those emotions for you? Then you can decide in advance the thought that you want to have so that the emotions will follow that you want. Okay, so it does take a little bit of time, but I am here to help. And down below, I'm going to put a link to my call schedule, and you can definitely click that and schedule a call with me if you want to go further with that and want a little bit more help as well. So I'm going to sign off, and I wish for you a peaceful weekend and peaceful time with your family. And I'm going to leave you with this, okay? So there's a scripture verse that says, my peace I give to you. My peace I give to you. So we already have that peace. It's there for our taking, right? So what we need to do is to think the thoughts to receive that joy, that peace, that creativity that we crave. So it's just a matter of our thinking the right thoughts in order to receive that peace, okay? So I'm just going to leave you with that. And I will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.